you can, one, stand up against an IRS audit, right? Like you have the documentation you need to stand up to the IRS. I like having that in my back pocket, right? After that, you can take as much in draws as you want.
That's right. Once you have the appropriate backup like this, you have reached your reasonable compensation limit and you can now pay yourself as much in owner's draws as you would like. So there is no penalty or anything like that for being a proficient business owner, for being an effective business owner and running an effective business, an efficient business. That is a benefit of this tool that is quite literally dollars in your pocket.
Hello, and welcome back to Entrepreneur Money Stories. Kelsey, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
So today we wanted to jump on and do a quick episode in regards to reasonable compensation. Our S Corp episode went live, episode 115, on when you should become an S Corp and all of the considerations that need to go into being an S Corp. And of course, it brought a ton of follow-up questions, which I really appreciate. Thank you to everyone who emailed, texted, sent us a DM with all of your questions. Thank you for doing that. That is how we can lean in and be a better resource to you. We had touched on reasonable compensation in that episode. So when you become an S Corp, one of the requirements from the IRS, so this is not a Kickstart Accounting Inc. rule, this is an IRS rule, that you need to pay yourself as a business owner. You need to pay yourself through payroll a reasonable compensation. And of course, that leads us to the next question. What is reasonable compensation?
Yes. So it's basically the IRS's requirement of how much you should pay yourself as an officer of an S corporation to meet that reasonable compensation threshold. So basically, it's how much it was the minimum that you need to pay yourself through payroll as an officer.
And this is really important. Again, the IRS, what they are concerned about is that you are paying yourself enough through payroll. They don't want you avoiding payroll taxes. So they don't want you taking more in draws than and not paying yourself through salary through payroll.
That's right. And I want to dive into that a little bit deeper because I feel like some of the confusion comes in is like, well, why wouldn't we pay ourselves reasonable compensation? Well, it's because you do end up paying a little bit more in taxes when you pay yourself through payroll versus just owner's draws. And the IRS knows this. So that's why they implemented the reasonable compensation caveat of an S Corp so that you don't evade payroll taxes.
So the next question from our clients and community members are always, how do I determine how much is reasonable compensation? So Kelsey, maybe you can walk us through a little bit how we have historically directed our audience to find this information in a simple method, and then how we can get into a more detailed calculation for them.
That's right. A simpler method is going to be just general. Where are you located? What do you do? And if you were to replace yourself, how much would that cost? So what goes into that is where you're located, what are the duties, things like that in a more general way. That's basically it. So go to Glassdoor, look up positions open that are similar to yours in your general area, print that out, keep that in your files, and that's how you would justify / calculate your reasonable compensation.
And I think that this is still a great, simple method. So please, don't just pay yourself what your business can afford. Take this extra step to actually determine what you would have to pay somebody if you were to hire this, someone to actually replace yourself. I think a lot of times we see our clients and other entrepreneurs who are really taking a guess. They're using their gut, they're taking a guess, or they're paying themselves just what the leftovers that their business has. And that might not be a lot of money, especially if you're still taking owner's draws. So this is the part that is the biggest issue. If you are not paying yourself a reasonable salary, you really need to stop the owner's draws immediately until we're able to pay you a reasonable salary. We have too many business owners who don't have the cash to pay themselves a reasonable salary because they're commingling. They're putting personal expenses through their business, and their cash cannot support both the personal expenses as well as the salary, or they're taking draws, and so their business cannot afford the salary.
That's right. And as an S Corp, this is an actual no-no. We have put a lot of time and energy into making sure that we advise correctly when it comes to reasonable compensation. So what we described earlier is going to be a more simple cost approach. Well, how much would it cost to replace me is basically what that is. But there is a second approach, and it's called the market approach. And this one is much more in-depth. And this is actually a method that we are newly capable of even doing through our sister company, KSA Tax Partners. And we can dive into what factors are involved in that, what that process is like. It's much more in-depth when it comes to the market approach.
Today's show is brought to you by Kickstart Accounting, Inc. Are you ready to take control of your finances and pave the way to sustainable profit? Look no further than Kickstart Accounting, Inc., your trusted bookkeeping service since 2015. They've worked with thousands of other business owners, so they understand your unique needs. What really actually sets them apart, though, is that they're entrepreneurs themselves, dedicated to entrepreneurs like you. Kickstart Accounting Inc.'s strategic framework empowers you every step of the way. They will start with their safe and secure onboarding process, use their magic to set up QuickBooks, and provide you with their easy-to-read financial snapshot. Don't forget, you'll have a dedicated team to ensure that your financials are accurate and on time. Don't let bookkeeping overwhelm you. Trust the Kickstart Accounting Inc. team today. Visit kickstartaccountinginc.com to book your discovery call and get started. I talk about risk tolerance on this podcast a lot because I've noticed that there are definitely different risk profiles. We all have a money mindset personality type. We did a whole quiz on the personality type. You can go to kickstartaccountinginc.com/quiz and find out a little bit more about your personality type. What I found out for myself is that I am pretty conservative. I didn't know this actually 9 years ago. I have found though that I really want to follow the rules. I want to know what the rules are. And I want someone to tell me very specifically, what do I need to do? Just give me the amount so that I know that I am protected against the IRS. So some people are a little bit more comfortable with flying by the seat of their pants, doing what they can and letting the rest a chance. If you're a little bit more like me, where you want clear answers and you want specific amounts, this is for you. So as Kelsey mentioned, part of our partnership with our sister company, KSA Tax Partners, we are able to help you find that detailed amount to pay yourself through salary as reasonable compensation. Now, Kelsey, I think what dawned on me as the best part about this method and having this tool is that once you have this tool, you can, one, stand up against an IRS audit, right? Like you have the documentation you need to stand up to the IRS. I like having that in my back pocket, right? And then two, after that, you can take as much in draws as you want. Like it doesn't matter.
Right. That's right. Once you have the appropriate backup like this, you have reached your reasonable compensation limit and you can now pay yourself as much in owner's draws as you would like. So there is no penalty or anything like that for being a proficient business owner, for being an effective business owner and running an effective business, an efficient business. That is a benefit of this tool that is quite literally dollars in your pocket.
Yeah. There is no ceiling, right? Like we have now removed the ceiling for you as a business owner. Once you have the documentation, you have paid yourself a reasonable salary. Now the caps are off. You can take as much in draws as you'd like. So historically, without this information, without this documentation, we really needed as business owners to make sure that we weren't overdrawing from our company, that we were keeping this in line. So Kelsey, tell us a little bit about if somebody, again, they're like me, they want the dollars and cents, give me the specific amount. What do I need to do? What do they do? Where do they go? And how do they get this information?
First step is go to kickstartaccountinginc.com/comp, and there will be a form there for you to fill out. Once you fill out the quick form, then we'll send you the agreement that has a couple options on there. The first one is we can provide this documentation for you for the simpler approach. What this does is for those of you that cannot find a position open similar to what you do in your area, or maybe what you do is so different, or some of the feedback that we've gotten is, well, I do everything, I do a lot, or there's really nothing out there like what I do. That is for you. So we can still put together this documentation that spells out the dollar for your reasonable compensation. And think of it as insurance. So the tool that we use has never lost an IRS audit. So think of it as insurance for you for backing up your reasonable compensation. So that's option number one. And then option number two is that market approach like that we were talking about earlier. So this one's a lot more in depth. We'll go into your geographical area. So your state, your city, and not only that, but we also go into your county. And then from there, we dive really deep into what exactly do you do in your business. So there are major tasks that we'll touch on. So admin, finance, HR, things like that. And don't worry, we'll guide you through this entire process. So even if you're like, I'm just really not sure, we'll have a full consultation about it and we'll guide you through everything. So once we have the higher level tasks that you do, management, whatever it may be, then we go even deeper into each of those. So of everything that you do, how much time are you spending on admin? How much time are you spending on HR? How much are you spending in finance? And then from there's a few other metrics about your business. So number of employees, all of that. And then our tool puts together the largest database of wage data that is available and uses the metrics that we put in combined with the wage data and spits out a reasonable compensation for you into a report that you can keep into your files and have that as backup for you if you were ever audited.
Yeah. So that second approach, you will actually schedule time with our CPA team to walk through this it kind of interview style, and then an opportunity to review that number and have any questions that you might have answered. So just depending on how much hand-holding you'd like throughout this process. Again, if you don't feel ready to work with our team of CPAs at KSA Tax Partners, you can do this on your own, which is why we wanted to come on and give that detailed clarification. But I want to invite you, I want to give you the opportunity to do this right? Like to really get that number, that insurance policy that you need to run your business confidently. Our mission as a firm is to help business owners confidently run their business. And this is part of it because this causes anxiety, this causes stress, and we want you to have the specific information that you need in order to be confident, knowing that I can stand up to the IRS. It's like the bully can't take you down on the playground anymore.
That's right. There's no question. There's no subjectiveness anywhere in here. This is concrete number for you that, like I said, has never lost an IRS audit.
Have you ever heard yourself saying, I'm not a numbers person? How about, I've never been good with money, so why even bother trying? And this is one of my favorites. My parents, my family, they weren't good with money, and now I don't know how to manage my own money. I want you to imagine what it would feel like to overcome the imposter syndrome and financial insecurities as a female founder. Kickstart Accounting Inc.'s Money Mindset Mastery Program offers a transformative 7-step approach to understanding and mastering your money mindset. Learn to heal your relationship with money. Get a grip on the stories you're telling yourself. Find the practical tools to get off the emotional spending roller coaster and gain confidence in spending in your business. You'll benefit from the perfected reflection strategies for personal growth and self-awareness, access to valuable resources and mentorship, and the opportunity to join an influential community. Take control of your finances and life right now. Go to kickstartaccountinginc.com/courses to learn more about the Money Mindset Mastery Program. I cannot wait to work with you and help you finally master your money mindset. All right. So I want to invite you, go to kickstartaccountinginc.com/comp to be able to sign up for your reasonable comp analysis. And if you have any questions, you need anything, you can always email us at support@kickstartaccountinginc.com. Send us a DM at Kickstart Accounting on Instagram. We are here to be a resource for you. We can keep this S Corp conversation going as long as you need. I know that there are so many questions about how to pay yourself and what you need to know and when you need to know it. So do not hesitate to keep the questions coming. Obviously, we will keep showing up for you and give you all the free resources and information that we possibly can. Kelsey, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.